Hello people of YouTube, this is your boy Skinny Penis trying out something new since some people ask me that I should post new videos. I'm coming up with the already existing idea of just playing ships live, making like 2 or 3 games in a row and essentially just talking about why I do stuff and how certain situations are played. It's easier to make content that way, obviously, because otherwise I have to wait until I get a really good replay, because normally I just uploaded 300k plus games, something in that direction. But I'm also playing mostly the same ships, so uploading the 3 millionth Smaland or Merceau gameplay is probably a wee bit counterproductive. So, let's go. We have, I'm going to do it with Moskva first, because I haven't really uploaded Moskva yet. I personally don't think it's that hard to play or that difficult to make up what you're supposed to do in this ship, because it's like pretty straightforward. But yeah, let's go into this game. So first of all, it's pretty balanced. We have a submarine, we have a carrier. We only have 2 destroyers. Sleeping Giant, pretty decent map. I get mid spawn, going over to sea. Not really in my interest. First of all, lots of people already going there, carrier spawn there, and this flank is a bit more interesting early for me for radar on this area against destroyers. Most likely there's a high likelihood of these people just running towards the rock, giving up the flank entirely. So yeah, I'm trying to go there, trying to either go to the rock or into kite. That will be decided upon what our carrier is going to spot on the left flank or what's going to be spotted on the border here. So yeah. In terms of ships, we have super ship matchmaking. You gotta be a wee bit careful about the crossfire. There's an unspotted battleship there. It's the GK actually, I think, that lobbed me here. Personally, I can't really turn out anymore. Not really the smartest option. Because I think... Actually, fuck, there's a submarine now here. Yeah, it's the GK trying to crossfire me out in some way, but the Patrie and the Stalin are super deep already on the flank, so I don't really want to turn out anymore, because those people most likely have really good angles on me, so I'm going to be nose in here. But I'm not going to peek deep into the corner, because the submarine is already going very deep too, so essentially the submarine could park here, which he already is, and then he could perma-torp me. So what I'm trying here is to use this island, because like you're either here and it's very easy for the enemy to farm you and spot you, or you are behind this island, which is very easier. So in this situation you gotta be careful that these people are not crossfiring you, but they're not really interested. Also, they're too far away. Even if the Thunderer plays range mod, he can't really shoot you. Yeah, there's the submarine. Well, okay. So the Stalin turned out and the Patrie is going more towards the rock, and the Clausewitz and the GK are coming. So if I go towards the corner, first of all, the carrier could perma-grief me out. Rock target. If you're sitting on a rock in a Moskva, fairly easy for the carrier to focus you. I'm going to turn out now because this guy doesn't have angles and this guy is still in the border, which means his back turrets or his front turrets are probably not on target yet, but they're going to be in a few seconds. So I can use timing, turn out, and be safe. So the Patrie is not gonna get a shot here, fly broadside. I mean, given though it's a Patrie, he can still nuke me. And now I have to create fast distance between me and the Stalin and the Patrie. Also, this guy shoots HE for now, so it's fine. But the moment this guy switches to AP, I can't shoot the Patrie anymore, because Stalingrad at that angle would be able to penetrate me. We're going to heal. Actually an awful lot of focus for now. Carrier's coming for me, which is the main reason I don't want to sit on the rock, because the submarine, as said, is already blocking me from peeking anything. So if the Patrie and the Stalin keep kiting away, I have no real means of peeking anything or bringing meaningful damage. Also, my radar is pretty useless here, because the submarine obviously is essentially immune to it. So the Stalingrad is leaving the range, unless he plays range mod. The submarine is pinging me, which is not really that big of a problem because he doesn't have aft torpedoes in the U. I'm just gonna keep kiting here, trying to get angles on the GK and the Patrie if he repushes. Yeah, so like, if I would have sat on the island, I would have been most likely completely alone, and the carrier could have just perma-dropped me, which I obviously don't want to happen to me. So yeah, now we're going really passive. I mean, I can't really enter into the middle. Going towards the middle nose in a Moskva is pretty useless. Nothing is really going to happen. In this situation, I can get all guns on target. I can sit here, and essentially also my battleships are so passive that being close to this rock here would only mean that I get focused out for free. I mean, like in this situation, I mentioned it many times by now, the likelihood of you surviving on this rock is essentially 0. You're just offering yourself for the submarine to perma-ping you, while the carrier can drop you. So the combination of the pings, the torps, and the bombers from the carrier will most likely kill you. So yeah, the Clausewitz managed to get in. This is due to our Bourgogne obviously playing super passive and not doing anything. Our Yamato essentially doing the same, so the entrance of the cruiser was for free there. So now that the Clausewitz sits inside of the cap, we have to kill the people around it, or we have to hope they run away, which they currently do. Stalingrad and Patrie ran away. The GK is nose tanking. Like, even if the GK turns out here, he's gonna die. He also repaired, so I'm trying to get fires. Borg is shooting HE, so this guy's probably gonna be on a double fire soon and die. And then we can turn it around immediately and run it in. So in regards to the game, nothing has really happened. Not that many people died. Points are still equal. Essentially what normally happens on the Sleeping Giant in the first minutes. There's no real exchange of caps. It's very rare that destroyers get a lot of caps early. Our submarine died now, because apparently he doesn't like to move while pinging, so the GK could just kill him. We got the GK now, and now it's immediately turn around and run it in. Because these people ran into base, no one on the 1-2 line, there's actually an avenue for me to go into the cap 2 now. The problem here would still be the... First of all, the range mod Patrie would be an issue, that's for sure. He's fucking shooting me. Don't really wanna... He aimed for me 1 second, but then didn't anymore. Well, yeah, a submarine is a bit of a problem. I personally play DefA, which is pretty good in this situation, because I have a carrier against me. I like to play DefA more, because Moskva isn't really that much... that often in a position where you get torped. So, like, we can go into the build later, but like, yeah, I definitely like DefA more, because you're a fat target, carriers love you. Problem here being, I have no way of really spotting that submarine. Unless he has no diving capacity. So I hope YY uses the opportunity that there's no enemy around him to now somehow get above the submarine and kill him. Because yeah, he's exactly... Man, this is like submarines. They're just griefing us for free, even though they're super far away. So how could we get into the game? Well, we have to first of all hope that our double Clausewitz carrier are not dying. Could wait here, and this guy comes around and I could crossfire him out. I mean, I do believe the guy would die to the battleships anyway. He's gamer turning in front of a Kreml and a Bourgogne, so I would hope that they actually kill him. Probably aren't, though. So my idea is now to go into A and go towards, nose in towards the middle, and hope that something happens. If anything changes, I would probably go around, play for late game, essentially. Yeah, well, that guy hinted. But I would like to have my radar in the middle of the map. I think that would be very helpful. I can definitely help the Yamato out with a bit of AA, but I'm not gonna pop def AA here just because I think he still has full bomb squads, so I would rather keep my def AA for that. The full bomber squadron is way more risky for us than these few torpedoes. Well, yeah. Essentially nothing is really yet decided. It looks pretty bad for us, but then again, it's only 580 points triple cap, but we're going to block 1 cap already, and there's some potential kills on the border. Our YY is now going into their base, which is, in my opinion, really good. Annoying them from behind with torpedoes could definitely help. Also, if the carrier chooses to go for the YY, he's obviously not a threat for the other people. My team is completely ignoring the cap, interestingly enough. Like my Yamato and my YY are going around, so I have to go in. Definitely a bit weirded out by the Patrie running it now. I can't really lob the island against him. Well, yeah, this is a real big problem now. I have no idea why he's running it in like this. And he's fire prevention too, so I can't set triple permafire or so on him. I'm going to sit in the cap now. But I have the Yamato with me, so the Yamato could definitely help overmatch him. I'm thinking about even using a radar here. To be careful now, really. Shoot the Haaland a bit in the middle, because he's doing something. Yeah, I have to stop here and reverse and hope that the Yamato and me can do enough damage to the Patrie when he comes around the corner. So I'm gonna switch to the Patrie immediately though, because the Haaland in the middle is a potential kill for us at this point in time. Which would be really great, because we now need kills, 700 points. I can out-heal a lot of the damage that this guy puts into me. The Thunder is coming now too. But I can't kill this Haaland. Gotta switch with the Patrie. Patrie DCP'd, so I'm hoping for very fast double fire. Actually, I got the midsection fire now. I hope the Yamato gave cheek for some reason. Well, we can kill the Patrie for the Yamato for sure. The Patrie is going for the ram, I think, here, and trying to shoot me again, which is sadly very unfortunate in my situation. Because he's gonna get that shot off while taking the ram. But it doesn't matter. I'm going forward again. Submarine is behind me, that's a disaster actually. I hate the delay on the fucking... Yeah, the submarine is most likely just gonna kill me from behind. I only get one shot on the Stalin too, so yeah, it's a wee bit of a disaster. Oh my god, I actually got a 5 out of 6 cits there. That's pretty huge, that's pretty huge. I can Citadel Thunderer really close up, so... I'm going to try and dodge the torpedoes without actually using my DCP. And I hope I get one clean shot on the Thunderer here when he comes around the corner. I can definitely Citadel him in this situation. I will also get 2 shots, so he can't really get around my... Okay, that wasn't Citadel angle. I DCP immediately just to keep more HP. Okay. Carrier did some damage in between. Conde dies too. The submarine should be really low. Hoping I can blind hit him maybe. I'm gonna pre-heal. I get A now. The Haaland is theoretically in radar range. This guy has very low diving capacity, so if the YY decides to hunt him, he's definitely gonna come out at some point. There's no more crossfire for me now in this situation, which is really good. Like, all the heavy ships died, so there's no crossfire up here. It's essentially only the carrier and torpedoes I have to be careful about. Our carrier is actually popping fighters now to help us out a bit. That's pretty good. Oh, wait. Maybe I can get an angle from here if he stops. Fighters are really good because I just get the cap for free now. Haaland is in radar range. Okay, so since there is no crossfire from this side over here, I'm going to go out and get my radar on the Haaland and kill him. I have no okay, torps are already through, so you see the torps here. I can just go around flat broadside, no problem. Like, I don't even need to angle in. The submarine will die, which gives us more points, and I can potentially kill the Haaland, also more points. I'm just going straight into middle. Yeah, should be a kill on the Haaland if I get decent dispersion and I can aim well. Essentially just depends on my aim, to be honest. He doesn't have torps ready yet again. I can also park in the mid cap. Okay, he's dead, perfect. I can also park in the cap because the carrier is trying to decap people. Also the Hindenburg will decap, so we gotta try to be here too. And in this situation, I mean, probably it would be better if I go up here and try to kill the carrier. I'm not gonna lie. Probably the better option. First of all, I'm gonna make sure that we have the cap. And I'm also going to go in between the carrier and my Kreml with the AA. I'd really like the FAA Moskva. I do believe it's just a better option overall, because carriers are so abundant at this point. And especially like bad carriers or less experienced carriers definitely eat a lot of flak. so then you can actually kill the planes. That guy ate some flag, but it didn't kill the planes, probably because I don't have a lot of AA anymore. Well, all players died, so it's fine. Actually, I have 85, even though the thunder and stuff shot me. Yeah, well, that's definitely a winnable game. It looked pretty grim, but as I said, nothing was really decided yet. The moment the enemy team decides to... you can already accelerate now, it's only 6 seconds, so by the time I get out of the cap, it should be capped. Still have some def AA left, but I'm probably not throwing a smoke cloud. Yeah, so I can go up to the carrier now. I have Kuznetsov still ready, I have a heal. Even if that's Tiny Tim rockets actually, he's gonna do a lot of damage. Oh wait, he did aim very well. But yeah, as said, like, there was not really an option for me to go to the rock on A, but there was also no reason for it. Essentially, like, kiting out a bit in this situation was better, because I get all guns to bear on the enemy while running no risk of getting completely citadel, because if you're like nose in and you want to use your back guns, it's very likely you get sit if you're like, there's no real way you can do that in this situation. And there was no DD there that I could have or should have radared, so that wasn't even a thing. Submarine is pointless to even bring the radar into a position because it's not gonna work. I have to be careful that the Hindenburg didn't go further into the flank for AP. No, actually the Hindenburg kited out further away. That's hilarious, to be honest. And one last FAA charge. I'm gonna kill the carrier here while the Hindenburg is farming me. Because if the carrier dies, we essentially win, because C is ours, and Hindenburg is just gonna run to the border doing nothing, essentially, so... Not really interested in that guy, even though he could melt me really fast. Yeah, but then you have to kill the GK. Fortunately enough, everyone else ran around. I don't know why the other teammates gave up on the flank that easy. Like, if the Stalin and the Patrie would have sticked around, it would have definitely been a way harder fight for us. I think I can just booty pen him here, but we're gonna shooting AG on him. Doesn't really matter, the guy dies here. I can even citadel him through ass. There you go. I'm still sector AA. I got a bunch of fucking plane kills here. Yeah. I mean, the carrier wasn't really good, so my def AA really worked here. Wait, actually, he's flat broadside, so we doing a little expert load in. We have a double fire, we're gonna heal now. 0 damage because it's Hindenburg. Truly Citadel, but whatever. Yeah, pretty decent game. I think it's gonna be a whole lot of base XP because of the plane kills and the DD damage that I did. Pretty good example of, yeah, sometimes you just have to kite. It sounds fucking stupid. Oh, sadly I don't get that kill, but we actually got a high caliber there in the end. We're gonna play a second game too. Hopefully it's going to be as good, to be honest. What is it as base XP? It's actually 3.6 base XP. Yeah, damage isn't that high, but the plane kills are essentially what drives up the XP so much, and the base cap. It gets a lot of combination, there's a lot of multipliers in here. Where's the plane damage? Plane damage actually only 59k. Yeah, but we got a Haaland in terms of damage. Got some damage on the submarine and the carrier. Actually we got a complete head-on hit on the submarine. Well, we're going to quickly go into the spec, then we hop into the second game, even though the plane kills were a lot of fighters. So spec is very obvious, basic cruiser spec. There's nothing really you can change on Moskva. Concealment is already so bad and you have a large citadel that essentially any movement becomes completely impossible. If you play heavy AP or like if you play that, your concealment is just ultra garbage. Lighthouse Moskva is essentially just a giga meme. Like, I personally would never play that. It's just a basic thing. I mean, if you really hate carriers, I guess you could go AA. Otherwise, there's no point in anything else. RPF is troll. Outnumbered never procs. IFHE is pointless. Heavy AP is the most useless 3-point skill on cruisers, to be honest. I mean, you could straight up take the torpedo skill on Moskva and it would make essentially the same difference. Yeah, maybe you could go AA, but this is definitely the most optimal build. Top grade gunner is also like perfectly designed for Moskva or Stalin because of your concealment, even with concealment spec, but also your armor. So you're like tanky, but people are a lot of in your concealment, and yeah, definitely run the radar mod, and I personally play reload mod. I also think it's better. It squeezes out more of the Moskva than ledge mod, but you're definitely going to have a very relaxed or a bit more relaxed time if you play ledge mod, and it's also more comfy because you have more range. Ledge mod is definitely a viable alternative to reload. Like, both of them make sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense at all is range. Range mode is just troll, because like, look, you can just take ledge mod, you get 8% range, which is enough. You already have, like, I think you get to 21 km then, or 20 km, definitely above 20 km in this cruiser, and you get a bit better dispersion, so you're more of a, like, a sniper. You're pretty disgusting in kite, but yeah, like, range mod is just troll. Like, if you play range mod, it's essentially pointless. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. Moskva build is essentially the same for most cruisers. You play the same on Stalin, you play the same on Nevsky most likely, you play the same on Des Moines, you play the same on Salem. It's all kind of the same cruisers. They don't have torpedoes, so you couldn't even spec into it. And as said, like, the only alternative to top grade is outnumbered. So, and outnumbered never procs in randoms, so yeah. So, second game, definitely better matchmaking. This time we have tier 8 and 9 instead of super ship matchmaking. So this matchmaking is insanely great for Moskva. You should be able to carry this very easily. In these kind of scenarios, it's even that, like, against these BBs with Massachusetts, Monarch, Bismarck, even like the Sovietsky Zuyus from Azur Lane or whatever. Even if you turn broadside and you get caught, it's very unlikely you actually lose all your HP. You have 70k, and how likely is it that a Massachusetts gives you a quad or a penta sit at, like, I don't know, 18 kilometers? Is essentially zero. So you're really free to maneuver around. The DPM is very limited in this kind of scenario, and also there's only 2 destroyers to spot. Sadly, again, we gotta carry a game. But here, as said, same thing. You're super easy to spot target, you're very immaneuverable, and either if you sit in kite and base or you go to a rock, it doesn't matter really. You're pretty safe from torpedoes on the rock or in kite. You also have the 12 km to zone torpedo destroyers, 12 km radar with very good HE DPM and guns. Like, you're, especially like Haalands, for example, in this game, super easy to hit. Essentially, you cannot go into your 12 km without losing a bunch of HP. And the only problem then would be carriers spurging on you, and that happens a lot. And so, like, Defay is, in my opinion, just straight up better. On Des Moines, it's a bit different, because Des Moines plays closer up. I mean, it doesn't even have the range, but it also doesn't have the range effectiveness. It also doesn't have that far of a radar, so lots of destroyers have stealth torp range on you. Like Haaland has 5 km instead of only 3 km. So yeah. In this scenario, again, I spawned middle. Interesting. I mean, the thing is, if I spawned in a flank, I have to play the flank. In Moskva, that's essentially it. Like, you either go to the rock or you go into kite here. Like, you kite here, or you go to the rock here, or you go to this rock here towards the 10 line, or you kite out here. Essentially the same. But now that I'm spawned in middle, I have some decisions to make. I personally dislike going into this area. I had 2 options. Either I kite in this area to have shots on this and this, when the enemy team also tries to go into the flank, or I go here and have the exact same. I can shoot all up here while these island ridge lines protect me towards middle. But yeah, I think this is the most optimal option that I currently have. Yeah, exactly. The only thing I have to worry about, there was a battleship unspotted here, maybe even 2, and those people could shoot me. So it was a bit risky here. If that guy had AP loaded, I could definitely lose a lot of HP. It didn't really happen. I kind of chanced it there, but I already wanted to take part in fighting. Yeah, there's the second battleship. So that's essentially it. You saw 2 BBs, cruiser and DD spawn on 1-2 line from us. So essentially there's a very high likelihood that the enemy team... Okay, that guy just died. I can use my back turret on him to finish him. I only need 1 citadel. I just want him to die real quick. There you go. Also, I got I get the proc from Mr. Kuznetsov. Obviously, if you have Kuznetsov, just put it on Moskva. It's a premium ship. Therefore, why wouldn't you do it? Also, if you run a normal cruiser spec on Kuznetsov, you can use it on like Kronstadt maybe too, or like Piotr Bagration, or whatever other premium ships the Russians have. I mean, I wouldn't play them really. They're not that good. But yeah. So now, depending on what this guy does, he's apparently shooting HE and kiting out. So depending on what that guy does, I can reverse now into the map permanently. This is the thing. Yeah, you are in kite, which means you are like the enemy team is most likely unable to focus you out immediately by torpedoes or gunfire, because you always have the option of running away, creating distance, and even going dark. So that's why people kite a lot, because it's a safer alternative. I mean, on Islands of Ice, I can't play the middle with a Moskva. It's super risky going to this mid rock, and then people from this side can shoot at you. It's not a viable alternative. But as you will see here, I can just reverse forever into the middle and get closer to the enemy that way. Also get my radar on target most likely. And the only thing I have to care about now is the Cherbourg and the Massachusetts on my broadside. But I have priority target. That's exactly why I play it. So I know kind of when people are aiming at me. I can definitely angle then, accelerate in and out. I mean, obviously we're playing prop mod as you saw. Rudder mod is completely useless. The DCP mod doesn't make sense on Moskva, maybe on Stalin a bit more. Like not DCP mod, the fire reduction, flooding reduction, because Stalin gets 60 seconds, Moskva only 30, so why would you use it? I'm trying to focus out these people now instead of the Bismarck. Hope the Cherbourg dies. He actually didn't. He's healing actually. But he DCP'd, so if he gets a fire now, it's easy. I just want to get them out of the flank now so I can actually keep reversing for free and then turn it around when I'm reaching the middle essentially. And I mean, it looks weird. I like to play like this though. I'm further ahead than most of my team, even though I'm in kite, just because I'm using this armored piece of junk cruiser. I know, piece of junk in the sense it's actually not that balanced. If you think about it, Yodos and stuff exist, and then there's a Moskva. I'm full HP. I have armor. I have PT. I'm not even spotted. Haaland is on the flank, so I can just keep reversing. Like, there's no risk, and I'm getting closer and closer to the enemy. As said, like I'm essentially furthest ahead. I get more range on these people, which also means that I don't really need the range mod or ledge mod. And personally, I thought this guy would turn out. Wait, Haaland? This guy would turn out and I could kill him finally. Turns out that is not the case. And Young is smoking up, so the Haaland is most likely going dark, which is very sad. Now I have to be careful, the Haaland could have torped me from there. But normally, if I stop now, the Fen Yang is going to be my early torpedo warning. And now I have to be careful. The Izumo is popping up from the other side of the map and shooting me, so I gotta angle towards this and get out of the middle a bit. So I'm too deep. Now I'm too deep. This guy can also peek me, so now I'm essentially I reversed myself into a crossfire, so I'm trying to get out of it. And I have to really be careful about the angle I'm giving to the Izumo. Now it's essentially 50-50, which ship is more likely to fuck with me with AP, and it's definitely the Izumo, so I'm gonna give flat broadside to the Massachusetts, who's currently losing his mind probably anyways, because he just ran it and is dying rapidly. I can just throw heals out anyways, because I got the procs. I have 5 heals on a Moskva, so whatever, I just heal the entire time. I would really like this guy to die now, so I can switch target. I think, yeah, he's dead. Bismarck coming in, so I'm going to stay for like 30 seconds more, killing the Bismarck, and then I'm going to turn my entire ship towards the people that are coming into middle, because the other side of the team lost. So we are obviously on a timer in the middle. Very nice that the Bismarck now decides to block me. Free look, so the turrets keep turning. I actually keep reversing so this motherfucker can pass. Definitely not the best play. I could shoot the Izumo here for a while, but I'm again on a timer. The moment the Sovietsky Soyuz reaches my broadside in the flank, I have to give up on this position. Or like not really on the position, but okay, like if you have a target here, and a target over here, you can't shoot this target from kite if there's a target over here shooting you, obviously, because you're giving flat broadside to that while using all your guns on the Izumo. So you're always trying, if you have a circle around here, you're always trying to shoot the most Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, so if I would keep shooting the Izumo here, the Zuyus gets flak broadside shots on me. We can play with our throttle here to throw off his shells. That's also most likely why prop mode is played all the time and essentially by everyone. It's going behind a rock. We're looking really bad here now. Points-wise, we're still fine, but our team is randomly pushing into people they can't kill, like a Haaland and an Azuma, instead of just playing for middle now. The kid is also playing for the cap. I'm not able to radar that, neither am I really able to shoot that. But I know that the kid is in the cap, so he's not gonna be in front of the Zuyu, so I could maybe go dark and go over. Well, the Zuyu is behind a rock now, so I'm going to angle up to the Izumo and trying to shoot him. But I can't clear that island, I guess. Can't really lob that. I'm in a fucked position really now, because that's the thing when your team loses an entire flank completely. Actually, the kid is there. Oh, he's going behind the rock. Can't lob it. Disaster. I can't turn in now, because the moment I turn in, I'm going in between the Zuyus and the Izumo, so I gotta somehow get rid. Oh, he already shot me. Well, let's hope that he's missing. Because I slowed down earlier, now he overled. Yeah, well, this is essentially fucked. Yeah, my team ran into the Haaland and Azuma and Kite because they don't know what they're doing. The other side completely abandoned, like everyone ran away from there. As you can see, there are only 2 ships dead, so the teammates were obviously too dented to play that flank. And that essentially allows the enemy to encroach us from all angles, which means me in a Moskva, I do be a wee bit fucked. So what I can try now is I can try to maybe get over, like maybe this guy sits on the island, doesn't get angles on me, and I can go over and maybe fuck close up with the Zuyus and the Nevsky and hope that they make major mistakes. For now I still have the Pommern and the Ivami that are kind of baiting. The problem is just, I assume the Izumo is just gonna peek out and fuck me at some point, so... We still have time, 9 minutes, so... It's kind of worth it to go for this kind of long play. There was no real point in forcing it through here for me. My team also going through there is just disastrous. They're throwing ships and the game on purpose. Just battleships unprotected trying to run it in. Yeah. Well. Problem here is going to be even if I kill the Zuyus and the Nevsky because they make major mistakes. The carrier is going to be hyper pesky for me late game. So I'm trying to go as far out as possible and then I have to turn it in to the left, but then I'm angled towards Izumo and Zuyus at the same time. We're actually having a chance here of killing these people. Now we have an issue though that the Nevsky is coming closer, which is... like in a brawling situation, it's a bit weird for me, because he has torpedoes, I don't. Also if he gives flak broadside. They do tend to have very, very weird citadels sometimes in the Nevskys. I have PT, so for now the Izumo is ignoring me on my broadside. I can see that. Now he's not anymore. Now he is again. Now he's not anymore, so I have to turn in. Now I have to close the angle, turn in. Yeah, the carrier's coming. Press O for whatever it's good. Could radar the Nevsky to be honest to see where he's going. Yeah, well, I have to tank the carrier just here. There's no way around it. Zuyus takes essentially 0 damage from me, which is also a wee bit of a problem. Actually, I have to go forward. I have to keep the island in between me and the Nevsky. But thankfully the Zuyus and the Izumo are going kind of into the same angle, so I can angle to both at the same time. I never got close enough to get citadels on the Zuyus, which now essentially means I can't kill him. I don't know what range I would actually have to be to citadel, but I would assume it's 6 km and below, kind of. Actually, I got cits here, but that's belly cits, because he's like turning out, so... And now I don't know where the Nevsky's going. He could turn in now and go into the gap instead of turning. Yeah, well, the carrier's just gonna finish me off. Maybe I can kill the Zuyus. I can give flak broadside, he had HE loaded now. I mean, the carrier's just gonna kill me. Yeah. Adios. Well, that's it for this game. Not really much you can do. Honestly, this is just why people hate randoms and why people get mad against or towards other people. I think our carrier hasn't moved the entire time. Our carrier was really, really dog shit. He was really, really bad. The team on A that won, even though we got kills, decided to push through. The team on C decided to run away, and the 2 people that stayed died. So, yeah, essentially the enemy team just won everywhere. I tried to have enough impact against obviously lower tier ships on my flank. I definitely got some damage and kills there, but it was just too fast on the other side. They just died too fast, and yeah, it's really hard to make use of the middle of Islands of Ice in a Moskva, to be honest, if you're not completely winning one side and getting everyone out of it. It's like the team has to have some positional play there, but yeah, it's kind of the same on every map. In any case, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the gameplay. Maybe you took some interesting takes from it. How to play Moskva. You can definitely, or it would be best if you just tell me what ships I should play as well. Do mind though that I'm not going to play useless ships. I'm not going to play any sort of bad ships just for the purpose of playing them. It has to be some half decent stuff. Also, maybe not the perma-kite ships like Hindenburg, Goliath or so, because they all play the same. But yeah, definitely maybe give your suggestions. I can do it again. If it's blowout games, I maybe play 3. In these kind of scenarios where it's too long games, I'll play 2. We went over the spec, so that's already done. So yeah, I guess have a nice week or weekend whenever you watch it, and see you for the next video.